spooky Halloween night here in Oregon. The ghosts are at my door. So yeah, I do cars, if you haven't noticed already. Obviously you clicked on this video. And I was trying to think of how do I relate Halloween to cars? Because, well, I don't know if you looked at cars, they're not very Halloween-y. So today we're doing the spookiest, worst things that you can do in buying a car, starting off with buying a used Land Rover. You will be, thousands of dollars in debt from fixing your piece of shit. When you ever buy a used Land Rover, it doesn't matter what generation. Some people say that, X generation is bulletproof or whatever. They're always most certainly lying. Range Rovers had the highest technology since they were some of the most expensive vehicles back in the day, and all of that technology turned to shit. They have all the reliability. Here's what I like to think about it. Think of also Rover, all of that, how unreliable they were. You know, Ford, this is how I like to think about it. You know how unreliable Fords can be, where you buy them, the electronic issues? Imagine a Ford, but with every single feature on the planet. Everything goes wrong. You're gonna get so many error codes. Every time you fire it up, there's gonna be something new, something else to fix, something else will break, something else will be annoying, and you don't want to deal with that. You will be thousands of dollars in the pit if you buy a single one. I don't care if it's a Land Rover Discovery, Range Rover Sport. I don't care, Evoque, whatever it is. Don't buy it. Don't even consider a Land Rover. Buy a 4Runner if you need to do off-roading, and buy some sort of Pilot if you need to, take your kids to school or whatever, right? But whatever you do, new, they're decent, but used, I don't care what generation, I don't care what year, I don't care if it's a year old, do not buy it. All Range Rovers and Land Rovers are notoriously unreliable. Now, don't ask the people online, because if you search up Land Rover, you're going to see a bunch of their marketing material where it's them with an Evoque going, ooh, it's got all these features. Go to actual mechanics like Scotty Kilmer and the Car Wizard, and they will absolutely tell you these are all a piece of shit. They're all just awful, they're terrible. They may have all the features you want and look nice, cool, and a status symbol, but if you buy this, you're not going to have enough money. You can buy this to look rich, but then you're going to be one of the poorest people on earth if you try and keep up after fixing everything, right? And sometimes on cars, there's little stuff that breaks, like my Prius, there are occasionally buttons stop working, and that doesn't, every single time I can still turn on the car and drive to work or whatever. That's not with this. Most of the issues with this are with the engine, transmission, and the small electrical problems can also lead to you not being able to drive your car. So this isn't small little things like, oh, my heated seats don't work anymore. This is big issues like, oh, my heated seats don't work anymore, so the computer won't let me turn the car on. Don't do it at all. The next thing, the spooky thing on this list, is Fiat. Half the reason why Stellantis is as terrible as it is today is Fiat. Fiat is some of the most cheap car companies out there. Now, why is cheap bad? Well, cheap is a great thing. We need cheap cars. I praise cheap cars, even if they are bad, just because they need some praise, right? I will not praise a Fiat. They're awful. Their build quality is terrible. There have been horror stories, like I said. They're not, capping things off correctly. They're just soldering it directly. Awful. They melt. The interiors are ugly. They're ugly, awful cars. They're also extremely expensive. Their entire lineup is confusing and impossible to find out what you want to buy. Because instead of having Sport Edition, XLE, Extra Limited Edition, like Toyota does, it's the executive package and the sport mode and whatever. Just this dumbest, stupid trim levels ever. And it's like throwing your money into a pit. These are awful. They don't make good daily driver cars. They're way too small for how much money you're paying for them. Like this one right here. This car is currently selling for $5,000. I could buy a used Camry for $5,000. That could fit more than comfortably one person. Actually, could fit, if we're being realistic here, more than 0 people in the car without exceeding its space. Yeah, they're all awful. If you find one and you own one, it's cool, they're cute, they can be reliable. But as a blanket statement, just don't buy one. One of my friends in high school tried to buy one of these, and we had to have an intervention, stop, no, don't. You will throw all your money down a drain. They ended up listening to us and buying I believe it was a Yaris. Lasted so much longer, they have it to this day. Don't drive it that much anymore, but they still have it, and yeah, just don't buy it at all. Don't even look at it, don't touch it. So that is the second spooky way of how to lose your money. The next, third way to lose your money is buying any Nissan, with a CVT. They're all terrible. I don't care if it's the third, second, a millionth generation of their CVTs. Nissan invented the CVT, and yet helped invent the CVT, and yet they have the worst CVTs. I don't get the effect relationship there. And as you can see here, they're not that cheap. I mean, $2,000, 148,000 miles. You can get a very, very old Corolla or Camry for that thing, and it won't blow up in your face. These CVTs break, they blow up, just so many issues. I wouldn't even touch one of these. Now, again, they look so appealing, right? Like a little Murano. Murano won't hurt, right? $4,000. Yes, it will. These are just, they're so bad. Nissan is such an interesting company in that they package their cars very well and have a very distinct, nice style. And then you find out about the CVTs, and you're just like, ugh. You know, you don't want that CVT. You don't want a car that breaks down every 5 seconds. And also, the interior isn't that nice. It's too, like, sticky outy and gorish for me to ever want one. And yeah, just, I wouldn't, no, just don't buy one of these. As a blanket statement, don't buy a Nissan from this year, right? So that is the third spooky way. Now we should move on to the fourth spooky way, which is being an idiot. I can't say that any less bluntly. Don't buy a 2021 Corolla SE sedan for $2,500. It's going to be a scam. You're going to get scammed. You will not get this vehicle. It will be awful. See, and sometimes it's, find out or pay the full amount cash. Excellent conditions, no accidents, right? So some of these are finance things. A lot of people see these and like, oh yeah, I can buy these. No, it's usually financing, right? And when it's not financing and it's just a car that is way too nice. Like this 2016 IS 350, so decent sedan, red leather interior, selling for $2,000 with 10,000 miles. No. Don't even consider it. Don't even look at it. Don't even click on the listing. I wasted so much of my time just clicking on these stupid, dumb listings. A car like this, it's for financing, not actually buying. And also financing, you're pissing your money away. And for this, it's just inconspicuously cheap. I'm sure this has robbed several different banks, especially now that it's in Florida. So glad I left Florida. Anyway, yeah, so that is your fourth spooky way. Florida's not a bad state. I actually think it's one of the better states in terms of GDP growth, everything like that. I didn't like the area where I lived, and I like Oregon more. I'm learning to like the country more than the city. So yeah, fancy, interesting, new. And the fifth spooky way to lose your money is buying a new car. Do not buy a new car. Don't even look at a new car. Don't bother. The only time you should ever be looking at a new car is if it's used and like 3 years used. All of this, you are absolutely crapping your money away. So you want to know, I'm going to explain to you exactly how that is. So let's build a Corolla hybrid. Wait, actually, no, not a Corolla hybrid. We're going to build a Camry. And then we are going to look, there's also Honda. I don't care what brand it is. It's not just Toyota. Don't buy a new car from any car company. I don't care whether it's, Kia, Toyota, or Range Rover, or Land Rover. Don't buy any new cars. They're all awful, and you will, of course, piss your money away. Now, it is fun to build these. What would it look like if I bought a brand new rocket ship from Toyota or whatever? But I just wouldn't. So XSE, nice, fancy, cool. Wait here. I should actually probably choose the base model. Back. This is the thing I don't like about Opera, because it's so secure, it's very slow because of the VPN. So, usually for flipping through pictures, that's okay, but when you really get into the nitty and gritty, you're like, oh my god. So we're just going to build a Camry here. Ocean Gem, of course. It's just the best color, really. Bolder interior. Bolder. Okay, and front-wheel drive. So this base Camry is $29,000. That's find one on Facebook Marketplace, all right? Toyota, Camry. And we're just going to scroll through this here. That's all Corollas. Okay. And we're just going to see if we can find a decent Camry for a good amount. Let's do 2017, because I feel like that was a really good year for the Camry. Why is it highlighting all of a sudden? It's very keen on highlighting. See, it's highlighting everything. Is my trackpad broken? I don't care. Anyway, so we see this here, $2,000, Fort Lauderdale, nice. 10,000. Oh, that's pretty decent. Miami, fancy schmancy. Yeah, this car right here, okay, this car has 107,000 miles. One owner, SE, so it's got the sport things. It's got a couple dings and dents. It's Florida, come on, you gotta expect that. Buy it. This thing will be 1,000 times more reliable than this thing, I guess you can call it a thing. Just buy a used Camry at this point, or used Camry or used Toyota. Any new car is awful. I don't care if it is a SpaceX rocket or a Mitsubishi Mirage. They're all equally awful and all equally over-engineered, under-durable, and all overpriced. So yeah, with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and please, please, don't buy a new